Thornton Township Supervisor Tiffany Henyard, who was appointed to that position tonight, lost her bid for the Democratic Party's nomination in this rarely used
18 months after our first WGN Investigates report on questionable spending by South Suburban politician Tiffany Henyard, it appears she has been forced off.
Chaos seems to follow Tiffany Henyard, the embattled mayor of Dolton, Illinois, and recently ousted Thornton Township Supervisor, as she faces a constant barrage of political drama, legal battles, and public backlash. From being removed from the Democratic ballot to accusations of reckless spending, it's clear that her political career is hanging by a thread. But is this the end of the road for her, or is she plotting a comeback? The drama reached new heights one chilly evening in Homewood, Illinois, where hundreds gathered at the Homewood-Flossmoor Park District Auditorium for a rare Democratic caucus, the first in 30 years, to select nominees for Thornton Township's leadership positions. At the heart of the heated event was Tiffany Henyard, desperately fighting to hold on to her position as township supervisor. With emotions running high and the future of local leadership on the line, the caucus set the stage for a political showdown, leaving many wondering what Henyard's next move would be.
Democratic caucus works right here in Thornton Township. You can also say that she flunked out because her name is not appearing.
Before the event even began, cracks in Tiffany Henyard's plans began to show. According to the rules, any candidate running for township supervisor needed a full slate of 8 candidates, including positions like highway director, clerk, assessor, and trustees. However, Henyard's ticket was missing a certified assessor, which was enough to disqualify her. As a result, her name never even made it onto the ballot. Instead, Illinois State Senator and Thornton Township Democratic Committeeman Napoleon Harris seized the nomination for himself, securing his spot as the Democratic candidate for supervisor. Tension filled the room as Henyard confronted Harris, accusing him of running an illegal and unfair process. "You didn't run none of this the right way," she shouted, calling it illegal. Her frustration was clear, and the atmosphere quickly soured. Supporters of Harris responded with a mocking rendition of a late 60s pop classic, further escalating the tension as Henyard stormed out, visibly shaken. It was a scene straight out of a political soap opera, with headlines practically writing themselves. Henyard had been outmaneuvered, her political ambitions derailed, at least for now. However, Tiffany Henyard didn't go down without a fight. Outside the auditorium, she vowed to challenge the outcome, claiming the entire process had been rigged against her. According to Henyard, many of her supporters had been shut out. She had arranged for buses to bring senior citizens to vote on her behalf, but many arrived late and were unable to enter the venue, which had already reached its 600-person capacity. However, for Henyard, this was no accident. "This is illegal," she declared, promising legal action. "I will be suing everyone tomorrow." True to her word, as dramatic as her exit was, the fallout was just as messy. Henyard's attorney argued that the caucus rules had been selectively enforced and that her slate of candidates had been unfairly disqualified. On the other side, Harris's camp maintained that everything had been done according to the rules. His attorney emphasized that the rules had been made available in advance and dismissed Henyard's claims as baseless. "This is the process that's been going on long before me, and I'm just exercising my role as committeeman to hold a caucus," Harris said, defending the caucus as a legitimate and democratic tradition. For Harris, the caucus was a strategic victory. By switching from a primary to a caucus, he effectively eliminated the need to face Henyard in a larger election. Henyard, however, saw it as a calculated move to silence her and her supporters.
There are perception issues with it that are right to get attention. Will the court look at those perception issues? Probably not, but the vote.
While Henyard's political opponents celebrated their victory, her allies rallied behind her, insisting that she still had a path forward. Supporters argued that she could launch a successful write-in campaign, relying on her name recognition and loyal voter base. "I think enough people know her name to write her in," said Keith Price, a vocal Henyard ally. However, Henyard's career has been plagued by scandal after scandal, and her critics believe her latest defeat is a long overdue reckoning. Over the past year, she's faced allegations of corruption, reckless spending, and misuse of township resources. Reports revealed that township funds were used for lavish trips, first-class flights, and expensive meals. Henyard's career? Okay, Henyard. Recognition disorder too. One shocking revelation even detailed how Henyard allegedly spent tens of thousands of township dollars on Amazon purchases, leaving critics questioning how such spending could possibly benefit her constituents. For many, these scandals have overshadowed any political ambition she still held.
Wow, it's like, grassroots. It was organic when a lot of things started at the township, where the people were, just.
Her leadership style has been described as abrasive and confrontational, often alienating both colleagues and residents. During a recent Dalton Village board meeting, she defiantly declared, "Like it or not, I am your mayor." Many attendees responded by walking out or turning their backs to her, signaling just how divided the community has become under her leadership. Adding to her troubles, Dalton has been without a permanent police chief for most of the year, leaving the department in disarray. Henyard's hand-picked interim chief was recently forced out after a judge ruled that he was unqualified. Meanwhile, morale among Dalton police officers has reportedly plummeted, with many feeling unsupported and overburdened. Henyard's handling of both the police department and her leadership style has only deepened the challenges she faces. This is why the executive director, Melissa Votenberg, is chosen to command the investigations into Lanny Danvers. The office has higher stakes.
32 minutes to an individual that doesn't give a damn about anybody's time but her.
The lack of stable police leadership has not only caused internal disarray, but has also contributed to a public safety crisis in Dalton. Residents have voiced growing concerns about rising crime, with some blaming Henyard's administration for failing to allocate the necessary resources to law enforcement. Critics argue that her focus on personal security, spending hundreds of thousands of township funds on her own police detail, has left the community vulnerable. And more alarming are allegations that Henyard has weaponized the police department for personal and political gain. Several local business owners have claimed they were targeted for raids after refusing to make donations to Henyard's public safety funds for donations to Henyard, for targeting for raids after refusing to make donations to events connected to Henyard's cover-up of Tenyard. These chilling accusations have sent shockwaves through the community, with some business leaders calling it a blatant abuse of power, further fueling distrust in her leadership.
Not let her get back into being a mayor, and we already know she's not going to win that supervisor seat.
The controversy surrounding Henyard's leadership has extended into Dalton's finances. Beyond a reported deficit, her administration is accused of blocking grant funding for critical community projects. For example, a $400,000 grant intended to revitalize local parks is now at risk of expiring because Henyard's office allegedly refused to issue the necessary permits. For example, a restriction is accused of blocking grant funding for critical community projects. For example, a reported grant intended to to complete your quote. I say it with a smile. I just, a little bit of bantermaphile. It's a little bit too much to ask permission to do. Park District officials have publicly criticized her, claiming that she's prioritizing political grudges over the needs of residents. One official stated, "The people of Dalton are paying the price for this petty feud." These financial disputes have deepened the rift between Henyard and her critics. Some trustees have suggested that her financial mismanagement is intentional, with one alleging that her push to drastically reduce the salary for future township supervisors is a calculated move to consolidate power. She's trying to ensure no one else has the resources to challenge her authority, the trustee said. This claim has fueled speculation that Henyard views her public roles as personal fiefs rather than positions of service. Henyard's financial management has also come under intense scrutiny. A report by former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot revealed that Dolton's general fund balance plummeted from over $5 million in 2022 to a deficit of more than $3 million by 2024. The report highlighted questionable expenses, including luxury purchases and unexplained credit card charges. Critics have called for greater accountability, with some even labeling Henyard as the worst mayor in America.
We are your bosses. We are.
Despite the mountain of controversies, Henyard remains defiant. She has dismissed her critics as political opportunists and vowed to keep fighting for her constituents. The show will go on, she declared. However, with ongoing legal battles, investigations, and a community that seems increasingly divided, it's hard to see how she can recover from the political and personal blows she's sustained. Yet Henyard's defiance has not silenced calls for accountability. Community activists and watchdog groups have started organizing town halls and forums to demand transparency from her administration. Some have even proposed petitioning for a state audit of Dolton's finances, hoping to uncover the full extent of what they call unchecked corruption. One activist remarked, "If she's innocent, she should welcome a full investigation. But if she's guilty, the people deserve to know the truth." These efforts signal that Henyard's challenges are not just political. They have sparked a grassroots movement for change. The public has watched all of this unfold with a mixture of fascination and disbelief. Social media is buzzing with commentary about Henyard's latest controversies, with both critics and supporters weighing in on her future. One commenter summed up the sentiments of many. "She didn't get a chance to speak. What's left to say? Bye, Felicia." Another was more blunt. "That woman needs to be arrested and her assets seized before she's put in prison for life." And last many names, end quote. On the wall of the living room at Deporte's office, she survives rooms with pink walls. At this point, it's hard to predict what's next for Henyard. Will she rally her supporters and stage a comeback, or is this the final chapter in her tumultuous political career? One thing is certain, her story is far from over. As investigations continue and lawsuits pile up, the drama surrounding Tiffany Henyard shows no signs of slowing down. But as the dust settles on her latest defeat, one can't help but wonder, will this be the scandal that finally brings her down, or will she once again defy the odds and emerge stronger than ever? Stay tuned for more updates on this wild political saga.